Welcome to the Metrowoman Talk Show. My name is Chineye Noli and I'm your host. Today we're going to focus on communication in relationships, especially communication between couples. I have a very interesting panel here of seasoned coaches, Steph Red and also Cynthia Wogu. Cynthia Wogu is a relationship coach, while Steph Red is a certified life and career coach. Hello, ladies.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi, Janine.
Are we ready to tackle this question?
That's good, yeah.
Today, we have a question from Christabel. Christabel lives in Lagos, and she's a banker. Now, Christabel says, hello, Metro Woman, how are you doing? My husband is emotionally unavailable to me. As a result, I am emotionally involved in another relationship. Now, she goes ahead further to explain that this man in question, this other man in question, is a colleague at work. And, you know, she has instances where her husband does not appreciate the way she looks, and or doesn't even see the efforts she makes, and she goes to work and there's this young colleague who says, oh, you look beautiful. He notices when her hair is done. He just notices things about her that she wishes her husband saw. Right now she's in a relationship, she calls it an emotional relationship with him. They're always on the phone, they're always having conversations. She looks forward to meeting him at work. Now, one thing about these questions is that we get to call the people who ask some of these very serious questions because we want to be sure, we want to be clear so that we can be guided in the perspectives that we give when we're answering. And she says both of them feel very emotionally attached to each other. The man in question is actually engaged, she's married, but they work together, so they spend most of the time together. Now, that's not even the issue. The issue is she has to go to Abuja very soon for a work-related project, and the man is coming along with her. So she doesn't trust herself because she feels, I'm going to go into this space where we don't know anybody. We're probably going to be in the same hotel, but probably in different rooms, and I don't know what's going to happen. Steph Red, what do you think about this situation?
Okay, so honestly, I think there can be different scenarios playing here.
Yes.
So you said she has already confirmed that they have an emotional connection.
Yes, he feels the same way about her.
So when you say, okay, I like to ask this question because he feels the same way as her because he has said it to her, or because she has assumed that he's being around her and saying nice things to her and talking to her and complimenting her and taking the role that her husband is refusing to take, is making her believe that there is an emotional chemistry, or he has actually said, babe, I know I'm seeing someone that I want to marry, and I know you're married, but gosh, I love you, or gosh, I feel such and such about you. That is communication. If he hasn't said it, could she be assuming?
Absolutely.
Okay, which she wants to be sure of, because it's one thing for her to feel emotionally connected because she's emotionally starved, and he could be feeling an emotional starvation.
Yeah.
Right? Possibly out of goodwill, or because he just seems to be a nice person, or because he does it, or because he just wants to, let me just clean out, chop and clean out here, wash hand later, and still marry who I want to get married to. So at the end of the day, what does she want? So it's not a thing of like, what do I do? What cards play in your favor? Is he going to leave who he's with? And are you going to leave your husband to be with him? And what's the long term? What is the goal? What is going to come out of it? So it's not just being concerned. Whatever could happen in Abuja is just a tip of the iceberg of what could happen later in future. So the future should help her decide Abuja. Where she wants to go to with it, or what she wants to achieve with it, should help her decide Abuja. What if he comes to Abuja with his girlfriend? What if he's just being a nice guy, like I said? I'm like, okay, and maybe he has even thought, maybe in his mind, like, this babe now, the way she's liking what I'm saying, before aeroplane will come and jam bicycle. And he will now travel to Abuja with his girlfriend, and she gets there thinking, I don't know, God just help me, but if anything just happened, and bam, she just sees somebody, and then she's like, he broke my heart. Because then because it's very important. Communication lines need to be defined. A lot of things happen or do not happen because of poor communication. So at this point, she already knows how she feels. It's not a thing of calling the guy and I say they do me talking on.
Let's agree that there's really an emotional relationship.
Yes.
She loves the guy.
Or she thinks in quotes.
And he has spoken. They spend time, I love you, you love me. So that part is established.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's do a reality check. He loves you. I love him. Are you going to leave your husband?
Bam.
Bam.
That's it.
Okay. So if you are leaving your husband and if he's leaving his fiancée, are you going to marry him? Is it the type of man you want to marry?
Yes.
Because at times we just look at it on the surface. He makes me feel good. But you know, if they ask you, would you marry him? You're not going to marry that man. Maybe he's not even the kind of person you want to be with.
How much of him do you really know exactly?
Let's say you know, because at times you feel that maybe his value and yours don't tally. But because you feel that emotional connection.
Yes. And right now he's
so
feeling
if everything, so let's look at it that, okay, let's remove your husband out of the picture, remove the fiancé. Marry, would you marry him?
Exactly.
So at times, I think this question is, why are we asking a question you can sit by yourself and answer?
No, it's possible she can't see it. It's possible she's present because, see, a lot of times where there's emotional starvation, you will see things.
Now, that's
you see men like trees.
Is there really an emotional starvation?
It is
or
possible.
Or is there a situation that she's creating it herself? See, men at times, when men are broke, I'm not giving an excuse for men. When men are broke and they want to pay bills, you might think they are unemotionally attached to you.
That's
so
relative,
has she even looked at that with her husband?
Yeah, okay.
I worked in the bank before. The man, first of all, takes the fact that you go to work in the morning. I worked in the bank, I stayed on the mainland, I work on the island. You leave as early as 5 and you come back by 8. First of all, he has agreed that you should have a career and you come back home late. We are saying he's not emotionally available for you. We have not, have you had a conversation with your husband first? Or you're just enjoying that attention that man is giving you?
Yeah.
So let's really look at it in a holistic way.
So that's why we're looking at it in
communication with that guy. She hasn't had that communication with her own husband, so first of all.
Yes, so
she doesn't go into that guy.
Yes. Communication both ways, of which it should have started from
her husband.
It should have. Okay, it should have started from her husband. If there is still a relationship,
there should be. Before
so
you
it's
say
a thing of
but why she's not jumping? Why I feel she hasn't had physical emotion, because she still loves her husband. Her husband is still a good man. If maybe he was cheating, she would have been asking, what should I do? I'm saying for my own. She might not be asking, what should I do?
It depends.
Because
it's possible. Okay, from when she noticed that if there was a connection, she would already go, babe, this is my hair I made, you didn't see it. So still on this communication thing, I think one of the things we need to understand in relationships is what you do not specify, what you do not determine, do not expect anything from. And you can't quite define the outcomes of what you have not specified. So if you want something, let's leave Hollywood expressions of I'm just sitting on my couch and a nice Prince 9 is shining. It's not coming with us. These days they could come connect keke napep. Unfortunately, there's no more keke napep. But we need to realize that if he's not saying it,
I can't say it.
I'm not talking of propose now. That's on.
No, not proposal. No. I want something for my
birthday.
So
I want something. Babe, this is what I want.
I make a new hair. You don't tell me it's fine.
This my it's not fine. I shouldn't make it again. Or you don't like it. It's okay. I like it like that. Leave it. Right? But the expectations we want. It's possible that we are not communicating it. Or it's possible that what is worrying him is not the touch that he wants to touch you. You don't know whether possibly how landlord has given him quick notice. He doesn't want to transfer that to you.
Yeah, at that point, is not going as he wants it
so
to
it's
go.
possible at that point, it's not the emotions he wants to express at the time. It's possible that he wants to save not losing the home, which will also pressure you. But then the emotional connection she needs, it's actually just a part of so many other things.
Well, you know, I have a
of which emotional connection is not enough to save a marriage. Absolutely. It's not enough. There's so many other things besides emotional connection. So
you know what
if you get on the emotional connection, sorry, darling. Darling, I love him in the morning. Oh, your hair is fine, but no food on the table.
Okay.
No food. Yes, oh, you're so sweet. You're like the moonlight in the midnight.
You get irritating.
But there's no food. Say you just say, babe, no be flower they find. Give me. You know. At that point, chop emotional
she didn't
connection.
Even mention that she's hungry or she's starved. She's very okay. So that's why she has the time to be looking at the boy telling her your wig is fine. If she didn't have money to buy a wig, that wouldn't be a problem.
Exactly.
You know what I hear both of you saying? Especially from the woman's perspective.
Yeah.
Your husband is not a ghost. He's not a spirit. He can't read your mind.
Yeah.
So you have to communicate.
If you want him to notice your wig, for example, now my husband, when I finish dressing, I'm standing in the front, babe, how is it? Will he now know? He will look at it and tell me.
You have to.
It's okay. This one does not make sense. So
yes.
remove this one. So I've created it. It's not a default. When I started, maybe he didn't used to. Am I fine? Let's be going. Maybe I want him to know if I'm fine. When he tells me I'm fine, I can go.
Yeah.
She creates it.
You see, your husband is different. My own is, if he's not fine, he will not say anything. I know.
Then we'll go together.
No, so if he doesn't like the hairstyle, we just say you went to make your hair.
You say which type is this one? What's the name?
We just say you packed it up today. If it's fine, be like, wow, baby, your hair is so fine. But if it's not fine, just say
baby, this is sharp.
Sharp, something like that. Sharp, no, my own just be like, your hair is nice. You know this how it fits you. This should be your new signature.
Oh, baby, you're looking lovely. You're looking sweet. Some people marry that type of romantic. That will tell them how beautiful you are. You look like the flower of the blossom or whatever it is.
The midnight moonlight.
That is so the one you marry. Know the one you marry.
Know the one you marry.
Stop comparing.
That's another thing, because you do not know whether his strengths are actually that person's weakness.
That's why I said, if they now make that guy you say you love available, would you marry him?
Yes.
Is he everything you want? But you married your husband. I'm not giving the excuse for the men that are not romantic. But I'm saying, have we applied some work into this at all?
Yeah, so save all that energy of falling in love with somebody else and put all of that energy into your marriage and making it.
I want to go into is, okay, have you thought about the consequences? If you go to Abuja, there is now a relationship. You come back to Lagos.
What next?
And then what next? Fantastic. So we've put that on the table right now. There needs to be more communication between couples, and as women, we should stop assuming that the men should know what we want. And all of that energy she's putting in on another man's table, she should, bring it back home and focus on making her relationship work. But then now I have Beatrice, who sends in another question from Lagos, and Beatrice says, how do I rekindle the romance in my marriage? Cynthia, how do you rekindle the romance in your relationship?
Rekindling means to let some things let low. Maybe there was romance before, so it just becomes normal. No, at times, those touching. You're sitting in the sitting room, you're discussing, and your hand is on him, you're discussing. There's a touchy.
My sister, that's relative. Because you touching now, maybe, in this Lagos heat. You have to.
No, I'm not saying to start anything.
It's even sometimes that touching can become offensive. Say, guy, say heat there. That touching can turn to quarrel sometimes. But it all comes to communication, right? Understanding, yes. So the rekindling, just like she said, it's not necessarily going to Seychelles or Dubai. Yeah. Go to Yakoyo, you can rekindle it from there.
Sit down and eat correct amala together.
Yes, it can actually just be like, sometimes you can learn to tease each other, but then that's when you have come to understand each other's language. So communication actually starts from very basics of, for example, there are some things I can tell my husband that my husband just use pillow. You don't get respected. Now me they talk give like that, right? And and we just be like that beats me, kill me, let my village people come and meet you, right? And then we laugh about it. But for some people, just be what? You know what?
How dare you?
They will beat you.
I'm the man of the house.
Yes.
You don't have respect.
I say they will beat you like this and lock the door. Neighbor come, they beat them, Joy. So you need to understand your partner.
And then possibly, what were the things you used to do before?
Why did you even marry him?
All the dates you used to go
Interestingly, this thing, I was just telling my husband yesterday, I was like, guy, that year when they push me, they track from here, reach date, and they like them. Then we just be like, we're just strolling in the evening and holding hands.
You stroll back, you stroll front, you get to
go. Then they hadn't touched some parts of Lekki. We used to walk inside town, and in my mind, as we were walking, I was just thinking, I can show you the world. In my mind, right? But it was romantic for me. Right now, there is car. Let's drive to roundabout. You're tired. What's going on? So, interestingly, yesterday, I just said, guy, I when they stroll for Lekki, it was sweet. Let's go back to that romance. Now, don't take me to Dubai. Let's just go and stroll.
Yeah.
On the street, let's stroll. I'm going to run tomorrow on Lekki Bridge. Follow me. Let's just do romantic. Hit me small, hit you small, but just run. It just depends. So, first thing in creating the spark, there has to be relationship.
More like go back to memory lane.
So how do you build? I mean, it's now the thing of how long how long do we want to be in this together? Gonna date, I'll be like, well, I won't talk to you again. I'll just ask myself, okay.
I will even start talking to you. I'll say, we are quarreling. Go say, we are quarreling.
No, this one, I'm like, this quarrel now. Where is it going to end? At the end of the day, we'll still go make up, Abby. Sure, we'll still make up.
We'll still be in this marriage together. Why are we wasting time?
So, yeah, so how do you now break out from that? How do you begin to think and look at the bigger picture?
This has been a very intense conversation, and we've heard you. You're saying, go back to the basics. If you used to take those treks under the moonlight, what were the things that you used to do before? You know, so when we're talking about rekindling the relationship, I hear you saying it's not about the new things. It could be the old things, going back to where you're coming from.
Yes.
The things that remind you of the love that you have for each other, recreating those moments. So what I'm going to do now, I want you to share with us 3 tips. I know that caught you by surprise. 3 things that women should have in mind when they are communicating with their spouses. Just give me your 3 top points.
Okay. He doesn't know what you're thinking, so say exactly what you want. Communicate your reason, not your emotion. Because a lot of times we get swallowed up with, we're first emotional beings before we are rational beings. So it's possible that we have something to say, but we shroud it up with a lot of anger or anxiety or fear or sadness. And when you come like that with anger, he doesn't see the reason in what you're saying. He sees the emotion you're communicating. And everybody, when you are attacked, there's a wall. Yeah. So the wall immediately goes up, and then he will never see your reason. So it's important that you communicate your reason and not your emotion. And then the third will be trust the process. Whatever was the reason why you came together should be the reason that will keep you through the moments of whatever highs or lows that you go through. To say, okay, we came together for this reason, to fulfill this purpose. We have not yet fulfilled it. This is just a stormy phase. Because of this that brought us together, I would work around this and make it work.
Thank you. And Cynthia, what conversations should Christabel have now? Tell us, what conversations, who exactly should she be going back to? And should she make that trip to Abuja?
I would say no. Well, if it's work and something she can't avoid, if it's so, something she should go. But you know, it's all up in her head. I would say it's a psychological switch. If you made up your mind to start liking that man. No, I know emotions were involved, but you could have been seeing him for a long time in your office and you didn't like him. So maybe something happened, so you turned on that emotional switch in your head. So that's why you started, okay, he likes me, and you fed it. So
as you turned up the switch, you can turn it off. That's what
I think it's not a one-off switch. It's a process.
There's the offing process.
There's the offing. It's the offing. So it's how fast you can do it, or how slow you can do it. But that's what I was about talking about. Let her look at the consequence. Let's look at it. What if it becomes public? Okay, it's here, and what if everybody gets to know? Or is it worth it? You know, my family, my children, myself, do I really want this? That's why I said take away all the distraction, your husband is not in the picture, the man is not in the picture. And let's say you met as single people, would you really want to marry him? So make your husband your friend. So I won't say who is she going to go talk to. So if somebody asks who should I marry, I say the person your friend. If it's your friend, it's easy for you to come back to and say, guy, what's wrong with you now? You've not been behaving like this. You've not told me you love me for the past 3 years. You don't even notice my hair. It's not like, what's wrong with you now? And you can retrace the step. Or have you just given up on the marriage that this guy is better out there? You're not looking at something. But are there not things that you saw in your husband that are there? So I don't think it's a lost hope in a marriage. He's not beating her. He's not cheating on her. He doesn't just admire what she's wearing. He doesn't have time. She talked about her own schedule. Maybe I both be bankers. She didn't mention that part. And they go work and they come back and they are both tired. Yeah. So she didn't tell us what the man is going through.
If she knows.
Maybe it might even be that she works and she comes back late and he helps her take care of the children. So somebody has to take care of the children if they are children.
Yeah, so we don't have all of
those details. So I am not saying, that's why I'm not totally supporting that, maybe he's this, he's that. I'm also looking at the man. So it's a whole picture. Yeah. So let's look at it. she should revisit the issue. And the Abuja guys should not be the bone of contention right now.
Absolutely. And I think this is so useful because there are several women right now who are watching and probably have found themselves in these kinds of situations at varying degrees. So they're out there and we're saying, put your energy, put back your focus on what matters the most. What we're going to leave you here with is that there's still a lot more that can come out of that marriage. You can rekindle your relationship and you can communicate better. And we're wishing you the best in love and in life. And we've come to the end of this show. It has been so intense, so interesting, and we've come away with a lot of learnings. Thank you so much, Stephen.
Thank you.
And thank you, Cynthia, for joining us on the show today. Don't forget to send your questions and any issues that you would like us to talk about on this show to ask@metrowomanafrica.org. We'll be so glad to take on these questions and provide answers. So I will see you same time next week. God bless you.